this sad. So if y'all ain't heard, cause we know Lil Jon was just set to perform at the Super Bowl, right? But then he got to deal with this. Lil Jon's son Nathan Smith been missing for like over a week now. They said he was last seen at 6 o'clock a.m. at his house in Milton. But y'all, it was kind of weird because they say he ran out naked. No phone, no wallet, no shoes, no keys, no nothing. And damn, y'all, so the police did announce that they did find a body in the Milton Pond, and they believe it was Nathan Smith. And right now, they said that they don't think it was any foul play. I mean, that seemed a little weird. Like, that don't seem like somebody trying to, plan to run away. It seemed like that was an emergency or something, And y'all, they said he was 27 years old. You think, how can a 27-year-old drown himself in a pond? Is ponds that deep? And prayers out to the family and everything, man, and Lil Jon. Now, do y'all think Lil Jon still gonna perform? And I know all the conspiracy theories about to go crazy. Comment down below and y'all let me know what y'all think.
All right, so we have to have a conversation about the tragic death of DJ Young Slade, aka Nathan Smith, who was the late son of Atlanta-based rapper Lil Jon. The reason why I'm making this video is because, of course, it hits close to home. If you never watched my content before, I'm from the ATL, born and raised. And I'm seeing a lot of people making these claims and videos that Lil Jon sacrificed his son. And Lil Jon is what, 54 years old now? And I do believe that Hollywood, the entertainment industry, is very wicked, very demonic. I don't really do a lot of videos about the entertainment industry and how wicked it is and all the crazy stuff that goes on in the industry. Every now and then I might touch on something that these celebrities is doing, the rituals, the homosexual acts, every now and then I might talk about stuff like that, but I don't really do videos like that often. But the death is very, very suspicious. It is just something that just happened so randomly, and it really doesn't make any sense. But they did say he had some mental health issues, and you can see the photo of him with no eyebrows. He shaved his eyebrows off. Your average normal human being, male or female, does not just shave the eyebrows off unless there's some type of mental stuff going on. Some people saying this could have been a drug situation. He might have took something. They say he left the house without a cell phone. He was barefoot. Some people saying he didn't have no pants on. I don't know any of that because obviously I wasn't there. None of us were there. This occurred in the place called Milton, Georgia. For those of y'all that don't know, Milton, Georgia is a very, very wealthy suburb north of Atlanta in North Fulton County. It's actually one of the most affluent areas, if not the most affluent area in the whole state of Georgia, right below a county called Forsyth County. And the average home up there is every bit of $600,000-$700,000. That's average. And then, of course, it goes up from there. But I think he was living in an apartment in that community. And, of course, they found his body in a pond. And he had been missing for 3 days. And they just knew he was towards the water. And these comments, bro, everybody just really does believe this man was a sacrifice. And before we get into some of these comments, I just want to read this official statement that was put out by the Milton Police Department. Smith, age 27, ran out of his house and has been missing since, police said on a missing person poster that circulated on social media. He left on foot and does not possess a phone, police said. He may be disoriented and in need of assistance. Family and friends are concerned for his safety. So this is just kind of a timeline of what happened before they found his body. It was reported that he was missing and he went out on foot and didn't even have his phone with him, which is very weird. I don't know what time of day or night he left. Some people said it was at night, but let's continue. Milton police immediately began searching for Smith, police said. After being unable to locate him, police and other agencies expanded the search to include a pond near Smith's residence. Shortly before noon Friday, Cherokee County Fire Department divers found a body in the pond. The individual is believed to be Nathan Smith, pending official confirmation by the Fulton County Medical Examiner's Office, police said in a statement. The medical examiner did not immediately respond to inquiries about the case on Friday. Now, this is what Nathan Smith looked like maybe a couple of years ago. I did watch a video about a a middle-aged white guy who said he actually was a coach. He was a baseball coach. And if you look in the background, that's actually a baseball fence. And he's wearing a baseball cap. And he said it was sad because he actually remembered coaching him on the baseball field. So I guess he played baseball at some point in his life. That's the photo of the missing person flyer they put up on social media. This was before they found him dead, of course. Gives his, physical measurements, 5'9", 150, male, black, whatever. Was last seen Baldwin Drive, Mayfield Road in Milton, Georgia, Tuesday, February 3rd. So he was last seen on February 3rd and was, of course, found on Friday. That's when the news broke. And I was wrong. Lil Jon is actually 55 years old. He just recently had a birthday. Now, that is significant as far as his age for all the people that's saying he sacrificed his son. Usually in the world of Hollywood, whenever people make these blood sacrifices, they give up somebody that's close to them, whatever. Usually it happens earlier in their career, and then all of a sudden they blow up. It generally doesn't happen when they're like not even really relevant in the music industry anymore. Lil Jon, he was never like a major rapper per se, but he was a big producer. He produced a lot of hits. A Lil Jon track when you hear it. He's collaborated on tracks with people like Usher. Of course, he had the hit song with Usher, that Yeah song, and Ludacris on the track with Usher. The Get Low song, To the Windows, to the Walls, Sweat Drip Off My Ball, that song with Yin Yang Twins. The Turn Down for What, which was more of a crossover song. He's made a lot of hits over the years, and his music is more so, like I said, turn up songs. He's never really been known as a solo artist. So my whole thing is he's 55 years old. He's probably not going to be making any more songs like that. The rap industry is just like any other industry. You get in the game, you make your money. Some people last longer than others. And if you last more than 5-10 years, you're a legend. You're an OG. And he might still be going on the road doing shows, but, he's famous for saying 3 words. Yeah, what, and okay. Like, he literally yells those 3 words on his tracks. And the way he says those words, it makes people want to listen to him. He's like I said, the turn-up guy. He's the king of crunk, right? That's literally what Lil Jon is known for. So listen to some of these people's comments. Sounds just like a sacrifice. I knew something was off when I found out his son was missing. Plus, we ain't heard from Lil Jon in how long. Another person put, we ain't heard about no Lil Jon and the East Side Boys. That man been bodybuilding, and now all of a sudden his son has a manic episode that kills him at 27. And he was set to perform at the Super Bowl. Now, I ain't heard nothing about Lil Jon performing at the Super Bowl, but it said, come on, man, the world moving foul plays out here. Y'all, let's wake up. We not getting mad enough. And another person put, what the hell? He was definitely murdered. And a couple of more. Wouldn't be surprised if Lil Jon's career peaks again. And then another person replied and put, it will 100% sacrifice. Looking for this comment. If you know, you know. Now, it's probably thousands, tens of thousands of people on social media making these comments. I'm not going to read them all because that'll take forever. And another person I got this post. It was very, very interesting because these are all people who lost loved ones in the entertainment industry. Just like within, I don't know, I guess the past 15, 20 years or so. It's always the kids, moms, and best friends. Eminem's homie named Proof was murdered. That was back in the 2000s. Lil Jon, we can know he just lost his son. Somebody put Kanye West's mom. She lost her life down in Brazil with the surgery going bad. Jennifer Hudson, I remember that situation where her mother Her nephew and brother were all murdered at the same time, which was crazy. Another celebrity that was connected to Lil Jon, Usher Raymond, he lost his stepson on a lake accident at Lake Lanier years ago. That was his former wife's son. That wasn't his biological son. And it's been plenty of other celebrities who've lost loved ones when they were in the industry. Now, here's my whole thing. Just because a celebrity loses a family member while they're in their career in the industry does not mean that person was sacrificed. I think that some people, they just take this stuff too far. They think everything is a conspiracy. No. People live, people die, babies are born all the freaking time. It's just the circle of life. It's just that more eyes are on people when they are celebrities. And then, of course, we have become privy to all these crazy rituals that they do in Hollywood. Some people believe that Diddy sacrificed Biggie. Some people believe that Suge Knight had Tupac killed, and Suge Knight might have had Tupac killed. It's a lot of conspiracies, man. It's a lot of stuff that happens behind the scenes that we are not aware of because we're not part of that circle. It's a lot of people who've died young. They talk about the fact that Lil Jon's son was 27. The people that's into all them numbers and all that, the 27 Club and all that. If you don't know nothing about it, look it up. A lot of celebrities have died at 27. A lot of rappers die young. Takeoff was killed out there in Texas a few years ago. Some people said that was a sacrifice. The young brother was murdered out there in L.A. PNB Rock from Philly. It's a lot of rappers that die young, bro. King Von was murdered here in Atlanta. Everything is not a sacrifice, bro. It's just not. Some are. But I'm not seeing any evidence that this was a sacrifice, but it is suspicious. And my question is why would Lil Jon have to give up his son in a sacrifice? And Lil Jon has already made it. Lil Jon is old for the entertainment industry. He's 55. And you got to ask yourself, what type of venture is Lil Jon going to get into? He's collecting royalties from his music. If he's smart, he's been saving his money. I looked up his net worth. Some say 25, some say $35 million. I'm pretty sure he owns his catalog. Like I said, he's never been a actual rapper. He's just the hype man, and he's a beat maker. He produces the beats. And everybody who's ever used a Lil Jon beat, he probably makes royalties off of that. That's how he made his money. You know, yeah, right? I remember when Dave Chappelle was doing that skit where he was mocking Lil Jon back in the day. That was hilarious. To this day, it's still hilarious. He literally had an album out called Crunk Juice. But one thing I will say about Lil Jon that is kind of interesting. Now, despite the fact that all these people are making videos about him sacrificing his son and people making all these comments, Lil Jon has recently kind of resurfaced with a brand new look. If you haven't been, keeping up with Lil Jon, because he hasn't really been visible like that in a long time. He's actually been doing this, bodybuilding journey. And he recently came in third place at some men's physique over 45 at a competition out in Venice, California, which is, right next to L.A. So Lil Jon, I don't know if he's living in L.A., if he lives in Georgia. I don't know what his personal life is like. But I recently, long before his son died, I would say probably maybe about 4 or 5 months ago, I saw some pictures of him floating around the internet and him doing a couple of videos, doing some interviews with people, hitting the weights and, getting all buffed up. Now, like I said, he's 55 years old. So obviously, this is impressive for him to be that age and, getting in good shape like that. I think that's a good thing. But, my question is, what place does he have in the entertainment industry? Is he about to get into acting? You know what I'm saying? Like, all the artists that he has, made money with, that he's produced songs for us. Like I said, Usher, Yin Yang Twins, the rapper from North Carolina, Petey Pablo, Sierra, E40, even Too Short. All those artists got tracks made by Lil Jon. So he's got a nice, decent catalog. And a lot of people don't know this. Lil Jon, in the 2000s, he did appear in a few adult entertainment films. I did watch one of them back when I was consuming that type of stuff. He didn't actually do any screwing, but he was, involved with the actual film, because it was like on like some behind the scenes type stuff. He'll just be kind of sitting there with his sunglasses on like he always doing, and all the women in the films was getting blasted by, other dudes. But that's the cover of, the flick that he appeared in. Like I said, he wasn't doing no screwing, but he was in the flick. And you fast forward to today, like I said, he's doing bodybuilding, and he recently opened up, within the past 6-7 years, he's opened up a couple of schools in Ghana. I think one of them is an all-girls school. I have to go back and look at the information. But he's giving away money to do philanthropy work, like opening up schools. He's bodybuilding. Those aren't things that exactly resonate with Hollywood. Like, those things aren't related to Hollywood. So I'm just curious to know why people think that his son was a sacrifice and Lil Jon is not growing in his entertainment career anymore. We weren't even talking about Lil Jon up until last week when his son passed away, unless you were aware of him doing this bodybuilding. Like I said, I saw him doing an interview with somebody, and I was like, man, Lil Jon, he actually looked good for his age. No homo. He actually he's healthy. He don't look 55. He's working out. I didn't even know Lil Jon was into weights, because that's how quiet Lil Jon has been. He done made his money. He just been chilling as far as I'm concerned. So in conclusion, I'm going to just say this real quick. You have had several artists that started off doing music, like a T.I., like a Ludacris, like a Tyrese. It's been a lot of them, like I said, that actually, started off in just doing, like I said, music or whatever. And all of a sudden they transition into acting. T.I. has been in several movies. Tyrese, his most popular movies he been in is that Fast and the Furious. Same thing with Ludacris, right? And I think Ludacris has been in a couple of other movies besides Fast and the Furious. Guys that aren't traditionally in those roles, they transition from, doing songs to acting, right? They start doing commercials and stuff like that, right? Athletes, same thing. They get into commercials. Very few of them get into acting, though. And that's Hollywood. They kind of go hand in hand. Music and movies, they kind of go hand in hand. If you can act. Beyonce, she did it. Went from doing her songs to going into acting. J-Lo. It's a lot of them that have done that. But I'm not seeing that with Lil Jon. I'm not seeing any type of growth in his life in that direction. He's not moving deeper into Hollywood. Now, like some of them people said in them comments, if we see Lil Jon's, career take a new direction and he starts becoming all visible throughout media, he's in commercials, he's in movies and stuff like that, then we can start talking about him sacrificing his son. But I'm just not seeing it, because usually when somebody sacrifices somebody, usually when they do it, they're much younger. They're in the peak of their career, or their career is about to take off. And I'm just not getting those vibes. Not right now. I can't rule it out, but I'm going to have to say on this one, I think people are, jumping the gun saying that man sacrificed his son. I do believe his son took something. I believe his son was not in a proper mental state. He clearly was going through something. And that's another reason why I can't say this was a sacrifice, because dude had shaved his eyebrows off prior to that, right? But prior to him going missing and being found dead. And my question is, what made them search that pond? What did they know? I don't know. There's a lot of unanswered questions. More information is going to come out as the days go forward. Rest in peace to the young homie. He was only 27 years old. It's sad. It's tragic. Either way you look at it. I hope and pray this wasn't a sacrifice, but I'm leaning towards it was just a tragedy. He clearly was on something. He clearly was having a breakdown. He wasn't in his right state of mind, and he drowned in that pond. Y'all got to remember, it's still winter time. Even though Atlanta ain't New York cold or Detroit, Michigan cold, it still get cold down here in the wintertime, cold enough to where if you go into some water and you don't get out within a few minutes, you're going to get hypothermia and your body's going to shut down. I don't care how great you can swim. That cold water will kill you, literally. So rest in peace to the young homie. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Peace.